I remember when I went to see Joker, I was looking forward to the film greatly, and I remember how I felt after the movie, and it played out something like this.
Good? Yeah, it alright.
What do you mean, it alright?
It alright? It not subtle or nuanced, it tasteless and lukewarm. But it alright.
Now, recently my buddy and film industry professional Heath Gleason checked out the film for himself, and afterwards he asked me, what was it again that you didn't like about the film? And my response was, I felt it was pretentious. I feel like the film Joker is building up to this big, strongly resonating, powerful message, but then when you kind of sit back and ask the film, okay, so what is it you're trying to say? The film just kind of stops and looks back at you and says,
society is bad. Toxic upbringings are bad. Gosh, you just can't tell a joke without someone getting offended these days.
Right, okay, so a very sort of a one-sided stating of the obvious. Was that really worth all the fanfare and the fluff? But then the film says,
but wait, none of it actually happened. This was all just a recollection of events in my head that may or may not be accurate.
I felt like Arthur Fleck's character development didn't so much reach its natural end so much as it just kind of ran out. The film took on way too many messages with its subject to actually really properly explore any of them. The 1980s setting didn't really serve the narrative in any way, because the film tackles the topic of voyeurism, which definitely wasn't as prevalent in the 80s as it is today. And then Heath comes back to me and says, well, those, sure, they may be flaws in the film, but every film has its own set of flaws. Heath made the point that when you're learning to make films of your own, you learn to view media with a very critical eye. You look for your own mistakes, for the sake of bettering yourself. And is it possible that by viewing this film with this very critical mindset, with these very high expectations, I might have overlooked any actual enjoyment that I had from the film, which is ultimately a film's main purpose, to be enjoyed. So with that all in mind, I'm gonna go rewatch Joker real quick. I'll be right back. Before we begin, this video is sponsored by NordVPN, and in the description of this video below, you can see how you can get 4 months worth of free browsing by using discount code CHANNELPUP, so you can browse safer and more freely for less. Gosh, isn't it wild how video editing can kind of serve as being like time travel in a way? It's as though I watched a 2-hour-long film in a minute. God, just editing never ceases to amaze me. At risk of sounding like a bit of a baby boomer, the downside to all this connectivity with the rest of the world is you got so many voices going on telling you what you should and shouldn't be enjoying. It's like,
oh, hey there, Kermit. Did you see any good movies lately?
Oh, well, I recently saw the new Spider-Man Far From Home movie.
Oh, really? What did you think about it?
I thought it was amazing. I think it may be my favorite Spider-Man movie yet.
Oh, really?
Why? What's wrong?
No, nothing. It's just that you're supporting another multi-billion-dollar Disney-mandated franchise tentpole movie. You know, the kind of movies that are killing Hollywood and destroying opportunities for new directors. Personally, I think you should be ashamed of yourself.
Oh, well, I just like the movie.
Now the thing is, when you come around to Joker, it's like, okay, this is the film that I'm allowed to like. It's something that we haven't seen in a while. It's a film that draws inspiration from a comic book to sculpt its main character, which the story is all about, and has no kind of relation to any greater franchise at hand. It is a small-scale, low-budget auteur piece that is made not to set up any kind of cinematic universe or to contribute to one. It's not made to rake in as much dollar as possible. The director, Todd Phillips, is wearing his heart upon his sleeve with his love for cinema, paying homage to numerous other Hollywood classics, and is clearly in love with this project, which I initially kind of thought was kind of big-headed. And he's definitely said some stuff surrounding this film that kind of feels a bit egotistical, but at the end of the day, the guy's very proud of the film that he's made, and the work that his cast and crew have put in. I would never put a person down for anything like that. And I think it's kind of a matter of taking these statements for what they are, and not going out of your way to just criticize, even though I'm kind of seeing it as my job to kind of view it with kind of a critical eye at least. I'm not just gonna slurp down whatever. So I revisited Joker simply with the sole goal of just enjoying the film. just being entertained for 2 hours. Not expecting for this film to be as good in my estimations as half the films that it references, not expecting any kind of divine revelation about the Joker, and leaving the Joker that I know and love at the door, which is actually pretty difficult to do. That's like the trickiest part of enjoying this film, is leaving my idea of the Joker at the door, because the film constantly brings up Bruce Wayne and Thomas Wayne and Alfred. So overall, I still stand by some of my points. I do feel that in parts, the film could come across as kinda pretentious. I still wish it were longer. It does move at quite a fast pace, so yeah, I still stand by. It doesn't really give itself the chance to really explore at any really truly commendable depth the very sides of our culture that the film really criticizes. But there was a lot in there that I actually really liked, but just wanted to see more of. I wanted more of Arthur Fleck and Penny Fleck. I wanted more of that toxic relationship between the two of them as mother and son. I wanted more. I wanted to spend more time with Arthur Fleck's sort of journey of self-discovery when he goes out in search of Thomas Wayne, believing him to be his true father, and I wanted more of his discovery that he's actually adopted. It plays out so quickly in the actual film, and I would have just loved to have spent more time with that. I wanted more of Murray Franklin. I think he had the best character dynamic with Arthur Fleck. And I wanted more of Arthur Fleck's day-to-day life at his job as being a clown. There are a lot of great scenes within this. The scene where he drops the gun while performing for the children at the hospital. The scene where he kills his co-worker while getting ready for the Murray Franklin show. That whole show playing out. The scene where he kills his mother out of revenge. The scene where he confronts Thomas Wayne. The scene where he's playing with the young Bruce. I love this stuff. This stuff is great. I have no doubt that this is the stuff people took away from this film and loved the most. There are also things that I could have just done with a bit less of. I could have done with less of the whole eat the rich clown uprising stuff. And I definitely think the scene where he gets beaten up by the kids should have come slightly later in the film. As a first impression of the film, it just feels kind of, Here's Arthur Fleck, feel sorry for him. We truly do live in a society. It's the character dynamics in this film and the character exchanges that I think are by far the strongest part of the film. These are all bookended by these sort of contortionist dance moments which sort of suggest kind of a transformation going on within Arthur. And I feel like these moments would land better for me personally if we just had more of that character stuff in between, because I feel like it would earn those sort of contortionist moments a little bit more. Now, I remember my main criticism of the film was very much the script, and I think my issue with it there, I said before it was very dumb and very shallow and very unsubtle. I think the reality is we've got a film that's kind of trying to be more of an auteur piece, but the film and the dialogue itself still needs to be pitched to kind of a broader audience. While it is a very passionately made auteur piece, it's not trying to be the kind of film where you have to have your eyes glued to the screen to really catch every subtext, every message. It's still the kind of film where you could kind of dip in and out of it, be doing something else at the same time, and still get the gist. And I think my thoughts towards this back then were kind of, I was looking forward to really digging in and analyzing this one. But I think the reality of the situation there is, like the unreliable narrator stuff, like the whole thing of it setting up messages that it kind of dismisses itself, it's by design. The film, with its unreliable narrator thing and being told from the perspective of Arthur Fleck, is there to kind of be like being in the company of Arthur Fleck. The film explores a lot of political themes, but like Arthur himself says, I'm not political. So it never really has a message pertaining to that. But much of the point of it is Arthur is a very ill guy, but he isn't a monster. Throughout the whole film, Arthur Fleck is just trying to tell us, I'm not a monster. I was simply born from the cruelty that exists within the imperfections of humanity. This isn't a film that's trying to give us a grand societal message like I had once thought. It's a film that says one thing. I am Arthur Fleck. And that really is all there is to say about the Joker. Do I like that overall outcome? Sure, that's pretty good. Was I ever bored by the film? No. Was I entertained by it? Yeah, sure. Did I feel empathy for Arthur Fleck? Yeah, absolutely. Does the film look good? Yeah, it looks absolutely great. All of the technical aspects are brilliant. The music, excellent. So the overall outcome is, for me, Joker is not perfect. I wouldn't call it a masterpiece. I wouldn't call it head and shoulders above other comic book movies. And And no, it's not smarter than your average comic book movie either. No, I don't think it's as good as the films that it pays a lot of tribute to. And no, this is not my favorite version of the Joker. No, this is not the one piece of evidence that will prove that Todd Phillips is the next Martin Scorsese. No, this is not the film of the decade. Not in my opinion. But these are not criticisms of the film. I don't come out of, like, Spider-Man Far From Home and go, well, that wasn't very good because it wasn't the film of the decade. It is incredibly difficult to make a film. And Joker is a film that's not perfect, but it just wants to be entertaining. It just wants to be liked. It just wants to have you thinking for a little bit, feeling for its main character. It doesn't hit a bullseye on its every target, and it doesn't live up to its full potential. But Joker is a good movie. From an enjoyment standpoint, it's great. It's enjoyable. Like, I think the fact that I'm saying from an enjoyment standpoint as a different standard shows that I've forgotten how to enjoy films. But I gotta say, I'm glad I did this. As prior to this, I had a pretty negative feeling about the Joker, and I think that was only further fueled by how toxic some of that fandom gets. Like, say, Movie Bob and Half in the Bag, they can be pretty critical towards this film. And the comment sections are filled with people just saying, oh, but you didn't understand the movie. You're not smart enough to understand the movie. You have no taste in cinema. You're just a hack critic. What these people are actually saying is this: I have no grasp on the concept that all art is subjective, and I have no respect for the subjectivity of the work of art that I have just seen, which is Joker. And somehow, that reflects negatively on a critic that I disagreed with. So people are walking around saying Joker is art, but they have no clue how subjectivity works with art. Therefore, they have no clue how art works. And the bottom line is, if you're one of these people, you're not as smart as you think you are. It's not Joker that's that pretentious. It's you guys. And I know I'm gonna get some comments saying, oh, you just insulted the fans. And well, if that's who the fans are, they can eat me. The thing is, much of my reaction was, no, it's not good. It's just an ordinary superhero film with great performances, great camera work, and great music. So you think the technical aspects are really that good? Well, yeah, they're great. And you like superhero movies? Yeah. Okay, so how can that be a bad thing? Now, the thing is, people have every right to dislike this film. If they don't like it, I can understand why. Like, the Rotten Tomatoes meter, not particularly high, and I understand why. But me being too negative on it doesn't make that much sense because, well, yeah. But you know what, if you really do love this film a lot and you respect other people's opinions, don't hesitate to celebrate that fact, sure. If you think this film deserves an Oscar, if you think it's a masterpiece, don't let anyone try and change your mind on that. Enjoyment of a good film is so precious. So just think for yourselves, and you do you. Well, what do you guys think? Comment below and discuss, and as always, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more like it, don't forget to hit subscribe, hit the like button, and in the description below are the links to my Patreon and my Twitter. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and have a great day. That's a cute outfit. Did your husband give it to you? Because you could get a way better costume from Zentai Zone. Check out their range of custom-made, tailored superhero costumes. Ridiculously good quality, value, and customization. Link is in the description below, as well as my coupon code CHANNELPUP, where you can get a discount off of your purchase. And while you're at it, why not get your suit designed by my talented buddy Dan from New Blood Dan's workshop? You can contact him via the link in the description below. Seriously guys, you do not want to miss out on your chance to be your favorite superhero and feel authentic and professional. And you don't want to miss out on that Channel Pup discount.